Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're stepping right into the classroom to tackle a really crucial teaching standard for your certification. I'm going to be stepping into the role of your instructional coach today because we are looking at Competency 002H, evaluating music in your classroom. Now, whether you're a seasoned musician or maybe someone who literally hasn't touched an instrument since middle school, this competency is absolutely vital for your future teaching toolkit. So let's just get right to it and see what this actually looks like in practice. Okay, let's dive into this with a scenario you might just face in your very first year of teaching. Picture it. You've got 30 super energetic fourth graders in your room. They're all holding plastic recorders. On your cue, they all start playing Hot Cross Buns at the exact same time. It's loud, it's kind of chaotic, and it's entirely up to you to figure out how to grade them. So how do you possibly evaluate that wall of sound fairly and accurately? Well, why does this even matter? Because without a game plan, grading 30 simultaneous recorders is just survival, right? It's not teaching. Now, when the song finally ends, your natural human instinct might just be to smile and say, "I liked it. That sounded nice," or "Great effort, everyone." And honestly, personal opinion and encouragement are wonderful for building relationships. We need that. But look at the difference here. On the left side, we have subjective feedback. It's based entirely on your feelings. On the right, we have objective evaluation, accurate rhythm, and clear tone quality. As future educators, our goal isn't just to be cheerleaders. It's to provide objective, actionable feedback that actually helps a student improve their musical skills. Just saying "I liked it" doesn't tell a student what they did right or what they need to tweak for next time. All right, let's move into Section 1, Decoding Competency 002H. I know, standard codes can sound a little intimidating on paper, but this standard is really just the professional solution to our recorder grading dilemma. It's basically your roadmap for fairness and clarity in your classroom. Let's look at the exact wording you'll see on your exam. Descriptor H states that a beginning teacher applies knowledge of criteria for evaluating and critiquing musical performances and experiences, including using standard terminology and communicating about students' musical skills and performance abilities. Okay, let's take off our academic hats for a second and put our teacher hats on. What does this actually mean for you? Well, it means you have a set list of things to listen for and you use specific professional words to describe them. It completely transforms this from a dry certification hurdle into a super practical tool. It means you know exactly what to listen for when those 30 recorders start playing. So the crucial point is this. You literally must intentionally shift your mindset from personal opinion to objective criteria. Your certification exam, and way more importantly, your future students, require you to evaluate music using concrete benchmarks rather than just trusting your gut. Imagine a student asks, "Why did I get a B?" You need to be able to point to a specific musical benchmark, not just say, "Well, it didn't really feel like an A." Objective criteria make your grading totally transparent, understandable, and fair for every single learner. To do this effectively, we really need a shared vocabulary. So let's jump into Section 2, Standard Terminology Explained. First up is the word critique. Now, a critique is formally defined as a thoughtful evaluation of a performance or work. Sometimes, people hear the word critique and instantly think of criticism or someone being negative. But in your classroom, a critique is absolutely not about tearing a student down. It's about being deeply thoughtful and constructive in assessing their skills. Think of it kind of like a diagnostic tool. You're looking at the performance to see exactly what's working well and what maybe needs a little more instructional support. Next up is performance assessment. Simply put, this is the evaluation of a student's musical performance. Whenever you have your students sing a song, play rhythm on a drum, or, yes, play those plastic recorders, and you're measuring their progress against a standard, you're conducting a performance assessment. It's just the formal action of gathering data on what your students can actually do musically right there in the moment. And our third key term is tone quality, which is the characteristic sound produced by a voice or instrument. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how it solves a massive communication problem in the classroom. Instead of telling a fourth grader, "Hey, your recorder sounds kind of squeaky and bad," which, let's face it, hurts feelings and doesn't help at all, you can talk about tone quality. It gives us a really specific, vocabulary-driven way to discuss how an instrument sounds. You could say, "Let's work on using softer breath to improve our tone quality." Do you see how much more professional, objective, and honestly helpful that is? Okay, let's see how this all comes together in Section 3, Objective Criteria in Action. So, let's answer that huge question sitting in the back of your mind right now. What will this actually look like when I'm teaching my own students? Well, here is your step-by-step guide for managing that chaotic recorder concert. Step 1. Before anyone plays a single note, you provide clear criteria to the students. You literally tell them, today I'm listening for rhythm and tone quality. Step 2, you listen to the performance. And step 3, you evaluate based only on the criteria you set: rhythm accuracy, pitch accuracy, expression, and tone quality. Notice how the standard terminology anchors this entire process. You aren't grading on whether they look happy or if they're sitting perfectly still. You're focused strictly on evaluating objective musical elements. I want to pause here for just a second and ask you to reflect. Put yourself in the shoes of the teacher at the front of that room. Once you have this objective data, say you notice the pitch is incredibly accurate, but the rhythm is just all over the place, what instructional decisions would be most effective based on this evaluation? As a future teacher, your evaluation isn't just a letter in a gradebook. It's really a mirror reflecting your own instruction. If the whole class misses the rhythm, your very next step is to adjust your teaching. Maybe you need to pull out the hand drums and practice the rhythm without the recorders first. The objective evaluation drives your very next teaching move. Let's think even deeper about the diverse students in your room. How could this objective strategy support diverse learners in your classroom? When you rely on subjective praise like good job, students who might be struggling can feel left out, or they might not understand the hidden expectations. But when you use clear, teacher-provided criteria, you completely level the playing field. Every single student, regardless of their background, language proficiency, or learning profile, knows exactly what accurate pitch or clear tone quality means because you've defined it for them. It creates a dramatically fairer, safer, and way more supportive environment for everyone. Let's bring all of this together for Section 4, Key Takeaways for the Exam. Remember these 2 golden rules. Number 1, evaluation must use specific music vocabulary and clear criteria. Never just say good rhythm. Number 2, assessment focuses entirely on musical skills and performance quality. The exam will definitely try to trick you with answer choices that sound incredibly nice and supportive, but entirely lack objective criteria. Always, always choose the answer that relies on standard terminology and objective musical benchmarks. If you just remember that, you're going to sail right through those questions. I'm going to leave you with this final, really powerful thought. Effective teaching transforms that sounded good into the clear, objective feedback a student needs to truly grow as a musician. You are going to be the teacher who helps students actually see their own progress. By using standard terminology and objective criteria, you aren't just giving them a grade, you're giving them the tools to understand and improve their own art. So as you plan your very first music lesson, ask yourself, what specific criteria will you set to turn a chaotic wall of sound into a true musical milestone? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.